Welcome back, all you Fabricans and Fleshbags, to the super, not funny show, Supercast. The Supercast, where we talk about all things superhero in our pop culture media, and that's movies, TV shows, video games. We do a little news and speculation, all that good nerdy stuff. I am Mo Poupée, your resident fabricant and commentator extraordinaire on all things pop culture, joined by the anime expert, video game designer, and lover of all things superhero, my good friend LADI. LADI, how you doing today, man?
I'm doing good. Just got home a little late, but I'm doing well. Working on a video to put on my Instagram and YouTube. People have been begging me the new one, so I got you guys.
Yeah, see, actually, after getting work done, uh, I too have been getting work done after a short vacation over the weekend. And feeling kind of like getting my nerd creds kind of on the line because I haven't seen Dungeons and Dragons yet, haven't seen John Wick yet, um, and this week it's Super Mario Bros. So I got to get caught up on all that stuff. But either way, we're back to the back to the regular grind. This is a heck of a week for news, man. Let's just call this episode all about the trailers, man, because we got like several comic book trailers this week. Pretty big stuff, pretty cool stuff, and we're gonna focus on that towards the end of the episode. But before that, we do have some news items to focus on. Uh, there was a shakeup at Marvel. A not very liked person got shown the door. We're gonna find out what happens to the next Superman TV show. Where is it going to premiere? We're going to take a look at some pictures of Lady Gaga as Harley Quinn as they filmed the Joker 2. A quick conversation about Shazam 2 and its terrible box office. There's reports of an unexpected character being in the Batman 2, possibly playing a prominent role. Who is this villain going to be? The right wing fanboys have their panties in a twist about something again. Surprise. We'll see what they're all mad about and how it relates to a future DC property. And then, of course, as I said, we're going to look at the trailers for Secret Invasion, Blue Beetle, and Across the Spider-Verse. So it's a big show today. Lottie, you strapped in? You ready to go?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right, let's get to it. So we found out it was late last week. There's a big shakeup that no one really, most people except like us maybe, really knew or understood what it was about, and that is Ike Perlmutter has exited Marvel and Disney. And some of you guys might be listening and saying, "What the fuck is Ike Perlmutter?" And I don't blame you, because whenever we think of Marvel, we usually think of Kevin Feige, or we'll think of Bob Iger because he runs Disney. But most people don't know that Ike Perlmutter used to run Marvel, Marvel Studios, Marvel Entertainment, whatever, back before Disney. Actually, back when Disney acquired them, he took over as like leading the studio. And at one point, Kevin Feige worked for him, and then they had some friction, and it looked like Ike Perlmutter was going to do one of the he was going to do one of, in retrospect, would have been the stupidest things that any executive had done in the history of Hollywood, and that was fire Kevin Feige. But Bob Iger stepped in, separated Marvel Studios from Marvel Entertainment, and he went off to Ike Perlmutter went off to kind of look after TV and like the comics or whatever, and Kevin Feige went on to be successful running the studio. So that's all the background. Why does this matter? Well, he was still at the company. I don't know a lot of if we had talked about this, but he was still around. He had been an executive at Disney for some time, and was just kind of hanging around. He slowly getting his influence and his responsibilities taken away, to the point where recently, with Marvel Studios sort of enveloping the rest of the Marvel TV side of things. He pretty much just had the comic books part, to deal with. But now he's been let go. And LADI, can you guess why? Can you guess why he was shown the door?
I mean, honestly, I'm gonna just say honestly, I'm surprised it took this long. Just, I'm. You would think after that he'll be shown the door, but I mean,
Well, let me keep something in mind here. Ike Perlmutter, you don't know who he is. Most people don't know
no.
who he is. The dude's a fucking billionaire. One, he's a billionaire. Two, he's like 80, but he's been in entertainment for a long ass time. Which means he's got some pull, even if he doesn't necessarily make moves. And remember, he was at one time the head of Marvel at Disney, right? So one does not get to be there without some, ability and pull and whatever. The fact that he hung on this long might be a reflection of the fact that he is, a Disney stockholder because as being an executive, and also he knows people and everything like that. And Marvel TV wasn't awesome under him, but it wasn't terrible either. I mean, we got Netflix. The Netflix Marvel stuff was under his leadership. The Agents of Shield, Agent Carter, stuff like that. And of course, there was some crap under there too. But all of the Marvel stuff that you saw, like the X-Men related stuff, that was all Marvel Entertainment. So it's not like he wasn't horrible at his job, but also people didn't fucking like him. But I'll tell you, what happened was that he was doing some, he was doing some kind of, investor shenanigans, which is to say, he was trying to get a place on the Disney board of directors by, sort of allying himself with one of I'd say, an activist investor that has a good amount of stock, and trying to force his way onto the board so that he can influence the decision making at Disney. And let's just say the shit didn't fucking work, right? he made a play, it didn't fucking work, and Bob Iger was just basically like my understanding is was just like, okay, cool, we don't need you anymore, and they just told him, hey, we're letting you go. So LADI, I'm gonna tell you, don't cry for this man. don't cry for him. He's going to be drying his tears with $100 bills. He's just fucking rich. And I guess the Ike Perlmutter chapter of Marvel finally comes to an end. Because as you said, why the hell is he still there, right?
Yeah.
He basically, can you imagine, for real, can you think of any decision that would have been, in retrospect, worse than firing Kevin Feige?
I mean, and just when Marvel was, because it was like he was talking about doing it in phase two, like after, what's it called? Like I can understand, what was that movie?
Thor: The Dark World?
So yeah, like some of those like movies weren't doing as well as they suspected that they would do, but to fire Kevin Feige when things were just like especially getting hot, Jesus.
I mean,
And
you talk about bag fumbles. That would have been easily one of the biggest bag fumbles. And fortunately, Perlmutter's his boss had a lot more sense than Perlmutter himself. Which again, think about that situation. He couldn't fire Perlmutter. That was a no-go. He couldn't fire him, and he definitely wasn't going to fire Feige just because Perlmutter had a beef with him, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so he literally just spun off, to keep Feige there and keep him happy and everything. He literally spun off Marvel Studios from Marvel Entertainment and put him underneath Alan Horn. So he, instead of having to report to Perlmutter, who reported to Alan Horn, etc., he reported directly to, the Alan Horn, who was the head of all of the movie production at Disney, right? So he moved. Let's just call it like this. He moved a fucking mountain to keep Feige there, right? Because I can tell. Just trust when I say, he did an end run around Perlmutter, and still had the man working at Disney. So that's some shit. And but I'll also say whatever, fucking good riddance. What I'm just gonna say good riddance. Who cares? Like, get out of here. We don't miss you. We know most people don't know who you are, and no one's gonna miss you. So anyway, I just thought that was something interesting since we talked about Feige and Perlmutter's run-in a few weeks ago. The good riddance to bad rubbish, I guess. Moving on, Superman is coming to the small screen in animated form. I remember we saw this. This was sort of, we saw some concept art for it. Was sort of anime inspired looking, Superman. This was like a year ago. Jack Quaid's supposed to be playing, Clark Kent / Superman, and it's called My Adventures with Superman, and that's the one where people are sort of like just mad because Jimmy Olsen's black in this one, that sort of thing. Well, with all of the axe swinging that Zaslav is doing over at Warner Brothers, there's a question about where the hell is it? Is this going to get canceled? What are they going to do with it? But fortunately, it was far enough in production that canceling it makes no monetary sense. And I guess maybe it's decent enough because it has been moved from HBO Max original to Adult Swim. So sort of Warner Brothers is keeping it in house for Cartoon Network, but we are definitely going to see this show on broadcast TV, and I'm assuming at some point HBO Max as a streaming thing. So, LADI, I don't know if you were excited or even interested in this animated Superman show, but they found a new home for it. So, are you happy that this project that definitely has been worked on, is probably completed, is actually going to see the light of day this year?
Oh, I honestly completely forgot about this. It's funny they got Huey.
Yeah.
They got Huey.
I have to be honest. When they said Jack Quaid, I was like, okay, I'm with that. Like, because I think people have this idea in their mind about what Superman should sound like, and I'm just like, why couldn't it be Jack Quaid? Like, just because he plays Huey or whatever, I don't see why he couldn't. Anyway, but this is coming out, man. What do you think that they're actually giving this a chance to shine?
I mean, putting it on Adult Swim definitely giving it a chance to shine. I mean, if the simple fact that it's on Adult Swim is like I said, if it was like some other like small network, Adult Swim is going to get its views. You know what I mean? People are
Mm-hmm.
going to tune in on Adult Swim. It's not going to like a dying place. So yeah, it'll do just fine.
Yeah,
Just fine on Adult Swim.
and I actually heard recently that they were part of a programming change at Adult Swim. They're actually giving it an extra hour, so they are leaning into the more of the adult focused animation stuff, because I think mainly that's you can call that the Rick and Morty effect, really, just because it's so huge and it's good for their ratings and everything. And I personally, I'll take all the Superman they could possibly put out. If they got a Superman thing, project or whatever, cool. Like, I want to check it out, and I like the art style and everything. But more importantly, I'm glad that they're not doing that bullshit like they did with Batgirl, where they're just like, nah, we're just not even going to put it out. We're just going to take a tax write-off. But instead, they're going to let us actually get this show and add to the amount of superhero content that we can consume. I'm cool with it. And hey, if it's good or great, we win. If it's not, whatever, we just move on. Wait for the Cape Crusader on Amazon. So I think this is a win, and I hope that it's good. So we'll talk about it when it comes out. LADI, Um, we are both. I think I don't know how well you felt about, or how much how good you felt about the Joker, the first Joker. I was a big fan of it. I liked it quite a bit. It's Joaquin Phoenix won an Oscar for it, and they greenlit a sequel because it made $1 billion. So I don't know. Were you a big fan of it, or just okay with it?
Listen, man, one of my favorite. Just man. Oh, I love that movie. Honestly, real talk. It came out at the same year as Endgame. I liked it more than Endgame.
Wow. You know what? I knew that we were, on this show that we would have some hot takes, but like you just did the hottest take possible. It's like you did a Johnny Storm hot take there, you know?
Yeah, I liked it more than I liked Endgame. Some people will be like, "You're crazy." I, I loved that movie. I enjoyed every second of that movie.
Yeah, and
You know what I mean?
you're not the only one that made $1 billion. Like it's in and I know this was pre-pandemic, but honestly, who knew that? And it's such a huge win. I think it was like not even $100 million budget. It might have been 50 or 60, whatever. They made huge money off of that. So of course WB they need more of that $1 billion franchise money. So they greenlit part two, and then we heard later, last year, they're like, oh, it's going to be a musical, or it's going to have musical stuff, and they cast Lady Gaga in it, and so people are really just wondering like, what's up with this movie? The more I hear about it, the more I'm just like, okay, this could blow up in their face, or it could be the most brilliant shit possible. There's kind of no in between there. So, all that being said, and I mentioned Lady Gaga for a reason because we finally got to see some pictures of her, and what she's going to look like while they're filming the movie right now. And I have to fucking say, I love what they're doing here. She looks fucking amazing to me. I and maybe it's just there's something about, like, I already like Lady Gaga anyway. I think she's a good actor. But there's something about the way that they costumed her and kind of made her face up and everything that just makes me feel like, yes, this is absolutely not just, oh, yes, this is Harley Quinn, but more to the point, this is the Harley Quinn that would have been in the world of the Joker with Joaquin Phoenix, right? Margot Robbie, she's a DCEU Harley Quinn, and I love her, and I think she's great. This is the Joker world Harley Quinn, and I mean, I think she looks great, and it just makes me be like, I got to see this in live action. So anyway, Lottie, you saw all these pictures. What did you think about her looks?
I mean, one of the pictures clearly shows her doing the dance on the stairs, and I'm like, this, I I really hope both of them are dancing together down the stairs. Well, actually, there's a picture. Everybody shows it. Yeah, it shows them
Definitely.
both dancing. Yeah, I like that they're doing a darker Harley Quinn because I feel like the take on Harley Quinn lately has been comedic and jokey and funny. I feel like sometimes we need a little bit of a breath of fresh air, and we need like a darker Harley Quinn that actually shows that, yeah, she is somebody that is crazy, that has went through that has lost her mind. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because I think a lot of times now people, like, when they show Harley Quinn now, and like, the TV show and a couple other things, they want to portray Harley Quinn as this like crazy free personality that's just enjoying life. And this is kind of like why some people are just kind of put off, or even like, I'm trying to find a word for it. They were put off, or even like, take who are taken aback of James Gunn's portrayal of her in his what's it called, what's those people
The
called again?
the Suicide Squad.
Suicide Squad. How she was clearly not in her good frame of mind at all. Like, she's crazy. Like she literally thought the blood of the people she was killing was flowers. You know what I mean? She's a psycho, you know? And I'm happy that they're going this route, showing her as this dark psycho. And
Right.
I am all about this. I'm loving this. I can't wait to see her psychotic moments where you're gonna say, did she really just bang the Joker, or was that just in her mind? Is the Joker even out walking about with her, or is he still in the asylum going like, where's my
Where's my Jello? It's time.
no, he's waiting for her to show up. He's
Yeah.
like, where's my psychiatrist? You know, where's she at? Like, what?
There's something like there's an aspect of like this picture I'm looking at where she's got a red coat on with like the checkered like undershirt, and she's got this bleach blonde hair, but like the roots are like all dark, like about like an inch or two, and she's got this face makeup on, and I'm just like, that's perfect to me. You know, she's got on these little checked, fishnet stockings, little black mini skirt. It's like a perfect little in between of kind of like the animated Harley Quinn and Margot Robbie's Harley Quinn, and also through the lens of this grungy 80s like New York kind of aesthetic. And I mean, like, and even her face paint looks like, a riff on the way the Joker, Joker Arthur Fleck in the first movie put on his makeup, you know?
Yeah.
I'm just like, the detail in there is just so on point. And I saw people were like, no, thank you. And I'm just like, y'all gotta y'all the same people that said that shit about Joaquin Phoenix as the Joker, and he was brilliant, absolutely brilliant as Joker.
Yep.
So, how about I'm just gonna have some faith in people who are making this, because they made the first one awesome. So they know what they're doing. And also, I will remind everyone, Lady Gaga can act. She absolutely can act.
Yeah.
She's good, and she can sing. And there's going to be singing parts to this. This shit could be. I mean, look, it could be. Like I said, it could be the best thing ever, or it has a potential to just completely blow up. And I'm hoping it just is the best thing ever. So anyway, I have a lot of confidence because of these pictures. But anyway, we'll get more information, I'm sure, as they finish filming, and we'll let you guys know what we think. Speaking of the DC universe, or at least a DC property, LADI, just a quick take on Shazam 2, which you have not seen yet. You're part of the problem, sir.
I've been busy. I have been ultra busy. If I could, I would have seen it by now.
Yeah, well, I mean, when you go, you will probably be one of the few people in the theater. Yeah, let's. Remember we just had this talk about Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania, which, by the way, is still struggling to even get to 500 million, which is sad and awful. But it's not as sad and awful as Shazam 2, which I do believe it just was in its third weekend. Do you know the worldwide box office? Worldwide, not America, right? But worldwide is $120 million. I had to fucking I had to double check that. I refreshed Box Office Mojo 3 times just to make sure I wasn't seeing something weird. 120 million. This is such a huge L. This is such a huge fail that I don't even like. There's no excuses. You can't say, oh, it's the pandemic. There's no, oh, it came out at the same time on HBO Max. None of that shit happened, right? It just fucking flopped. Like this is gonna lose so much. Like 120 million. I don't even think that is the budget. Well, I think that's about the budget for the movie itself, which of course means it's going to lose money.
Yeah.
And no one's talking about it as far as I can tell. I don't see a lot of chatter about it on social media. No one's rushing out. The only time and mind you, my social media is curated pretty clearly slanted towards superhero shit, right? Like all sorts of superhero movies, and no one's talking about it except in the sense that it's a flop. So LADI, I mean, I'm saying a lot of stuff here. This shit is a loss. It's a huge loss for DC, as you know, the DCEU is kind of on its way out. What do you think about this box office number? What do you think is the reason for it? And also, when are you going to go see this movie?
The reason for this is as I've said before, man. DC killed. They killed this. It's just a big shit storm. DC and the whole thing with The Rock, all of this just combined in this damn crock pot and killed this movie. It was just poison for this movie. I mean, I never understood why DC decided to even mention that they have other movies coming out when they haven't even started filming. Like, their next movie doesn't come out until at best 2 years from now, which is probably going to be 3 years. 2025 is a very, very, very optimistic thing for a Superman movie. Let's be honest, it's very optimistic. Why even talk about saying, yeah, all these movies, they no longer exist in our MC, they're in our thing. Basically, you're like, it's like imagine telling somebody that, hey, if you buy this computer component, the company that you're buying it from is going out of business and there will be no more driver support for it. But hey, it's right there for you to buy. What do you think? People are gonna be like, what's the point? What's the point of spending? And movie tickets are not cheap, man. You know,
Yeah.
$17. That's how much some people make an hour. You know, it's one of those. It's just it. Then we put in what happened with The Rock. They didn't. You know, let's just be honest. Shazam is no one knows him.
Yeah,
Barely
and
anybody watched the original movie.
marketing was garbage. Like, and I'm in the tank for this fucking movie. Let's call it like it is. I'm in the tank for this movie. I'm absolutely gonna go see it anyway. And I was just like, I literally was like, what is these trailers? We talked about the trailers, right?
Yeah.
None of the trailers wowed us, right? Some of them were kind of corny, in fact, and like. So if you didn't know Shazam, you're like, what is this? All right, some guy in a cape, I guess. So the marketing didn't do it any favors. The lack of recognition did it no favors. The fact that it's been 4 years since they had the first movie did them no favors. People sort of, but here's the thing is, how many people really, really know, like, oh, this DC thing is ending? And how many people really care that much about it? Like, how many people? I don't know that I agree that it's because people are like, oh no, the DCU is going away. Why am I even watching this? I think it's more that they're like, when's the last time I saw a DC movie that was worth a damn? Right? And you have to ask yourself this. What was the last DC movie you watched that you thought was good? I know the one I can think of, but what's for you personally? When's the last time you watched a DC movie and said that was pretty damn good?
The Batman.
Right. That's not it. That's the thing. It's not a DCEU movie. That's separate.
No.
What's the last DCEU movie you watched and you thought was good?
Aquaman.
Wait, so you didn't like the Suicide Squad?
That's DCEU?
Yeah, that is definitely DCEU.
Oh yeah. I like Suicide Squad.
So the Suicide Squad came out 2 years ago, right? In the meantime, we've had trash movie. I liked Black Adam. It did. I mean, I liked it. I didn't think it was the best thing that ever happened, but I liked it. Hell, I'll even say this: I liked Shazam 2 more than Black Adam 2. I mean, Black Adam 1, whatever. I liked it. I liked that both of those more than I liked Wonder Woman 84. right?
Mm-hmm.
Out of all of these movies, and most people didn't even go see the Suicide Squad, even though I think it's better than all three of those other movies. So the last movie that anyone saw from the DCU that anyone actually liked and actually went out to go see was what? It wasn't Harley Quinn and the Birds of Prey. It wasn't that. What was the last one that people actually gave a fuck about? Was Aquaman. That was it. The last one anyone cared about that was good was Aquaman. It was 4 fucking years ago.
Yeah.
So you got Shazam 2. Of course it flopped. Because DC has a track record of mediocrity or, just outright bad. Which is, I don't think mediocrity applies to Shazam 2 and to the Suicide Squad. I think Shazam 2 is good. Actually pretty good. And I think the Suicide Squad's awesome. But generally speaking, most people who aren't you and me, like you and I, are pretty burned out on DC stuff. And so this is just another one to throw on the pile. So, at least that's my opinion. No one's excited to go fucking see it. It didn't have any world-shaking consequences or anything like that. And I don't think it did the storytelling needed to make people care about Shazam. So,
No.
You'll see. When you go see it, you'll see what I'm talking about. I suspect you're going to be like, that was cool, but, and you're going to have a but for it. And the but is going to be why it's only made $120 million. Nobody got time for this, just okay shit, Just okay you can watch on streaming, right? That was fun. Oh, I can catch that on streaming. But, man, that was fucking awesome. That's I need to go see it before I got to wait 6 months for it to get to streaming. So, anyway, it's unfortunate, but, it is what it is. We got 2 more chances at it, I guess, before the DC. Actually, 3 more chances before the DCEU is shuttered completely, and we'll see how they do with that. Later on this year. All right, so LADI, this was a huge surprise to me. A casting, or I don't want to even call it casting, but a insider, I guess, told the Hollywood Reporter that this is definitely happening. And not only that, this character is a big part of the Batman 2. So remember, the Batman 2 is realistic Batman, right? Relatively speaking. There ain't no superheroes there's no Superman running around. There's no Justice League. He's just a, mentally unstable rich guy going around beating people up with gadgets and shit. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So, to my surprise, they said fucking Clayface is going to be in this shit. Now, maybe my perception of this is colored by the fact that you and I have been enjoying the Harley Quinn show. And the Clayface is in it, and he's hilarious and awesome. But he is a very particular, version of Clayface that is somewhat different than the other ones. But he retains the Clayface where he's basically a big old, man-sized lump of clay that can kind of change and morph into other people, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I understand that there are other versions of Clayface where he's just an actor that had, good disguises like Mysterio, or had his face was only the clay part so he could change his face or something. I get that. But we're used to the Clayface where he's got a funny little way of talking and he's always talking about acting and stuff like that. That guy. So it's hard for me to wrap my head around the fact that Clayface is a real person in the Batman, which is supposed to be realistic. And that just makes me wonder which version of this is this? Is this a Mysterio, or is this the start of supernatural shit in the Batman, in the universe of the Batman? LADI, help me make sense of this. What's going on here? And is this make you excited for the Batman too?
Dun, 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 dun. Yes. Yes. You know what this shows me? They are going to lean in to his detective skills even more. This is about I'm so excited. I'm at the edge of my seat. I have and I'm it wasn't to you, but both of my friends who listen to this will know this. I fucking called it. I told them the perfect villain for the next Batman movie is Clayface. And they said, how? Because Clayface is the ultimate detective horror type thing because you don't know who the hell he is. Man, this is perfect. This is perfect. Perfect for the Batman. A villain that you literally you don't know. He could be a woman. He could be a woman. He could be Catwoman. He could he could be Catwoman. He could be Alfred. He could be anybody. Well, you don't know. Man, listen, man. I'm so excited. This is exactly the person I was hoping that they were doing. Because I was like, come on, don't do like because some people say, oh, they should do this and that and that. I said, no, that's for like the DCEU Batman, the over the top Batman, the Batman that blows up a pier for drug dealers. That Batman. This the for the Batman, the dark story. They should do villains like him, Solomon Grundy, stuff like that. Horror. You know what I mean? This is supposed to be a mix of like a superhero and horror. And I am so into it. Because we all know, besides the Harley Quinn TV show, Clayface used to scare. If you're a 90s kid, Clayface used to scare the shit out of us. Everything that we saw Clayface in, besides the Harley Quinn show, he's always been scary. Even in the lighthearted Batman TV shows, Clayface is scary. You know what I mean? Because he's pretty much almost like Carnage. He can make his body into anything. He can turn his body into swords, spikes, whatever. You know what I mean? And it's just the simple fact that Batman is going to. Oh, I can already see it, man. I can see the trailer now, boy. It's gonna be like The Thing. You know what I mean? It's
Right.
like The Thing meets Batman. Batman don't know who the fuck to trust.
I'm just curious. Are they actually going to lean into because clearly in a realistic world, Clayface, as we're thinking about him, doesn't make any sense. You know, he's that'd be like if Spider-Man were realistic, and they were like, let's have Sandman. I'm like a dude that's literally a guy made of sand. That doesn't make any sense. So I just wonder how they're going to split that difference, between the kind of super powered meta-human version versus a grounded realistic approach to Clayface. And I hope we're not going to be disappointed by that because when you put Clayface into something, you're not you're not playing around. And if you decide to go like, oh, we're just going to do Mysterio stuff, I'm like, come on, no one asked for that. Everyone, if you're saying Clayface, we want the guy whose face looks like putty until he turns it into something.
Yeah.
Of course, they could really make me happy if they have him saying, I'm Clayface, stuff
I'm
like
Clayface.
that. I would love, I would love that if that were true, but like it would totally ruin the Batman too. Anyway, I'm intrigued, and we're probably 2 years out from that movie, so we'll keep an eye out on that. But I really want them to get that right, so we'll see. We'll let you guys know when we find out more. Last bit of news before we talk about trailers. And this is actually related to one of the trailers, but I don't know. Maybe this is just got to be a regular, feature on the show, where we talk about just some of the most ridiculous, reactions or takes on things, particularly. And I have to dunk on kind of the fandom menace and all of the right wing so-called fans and the way they get mad about the dumbest things, just dumb things. And so, here's, maybe we call this is where, y'all need to touch grass, as the kids say. And here it is. LADI, at the end of the Blue Beetle trailer, we have one of the characters says like, oh, this is just like Batman. And then another character says, Batman's a fascist. It's a little throwaway joke. I didn't even know this, but if you know, the person who delivered the joke was George Lopez, who plays, I guess, the uncle of Jaime Reyes. And this apparently is a joke going back, for some time with George Lopez himself, right? Apparently this is a joke that he's made before in stand-up or whatever. And so he's just kind of repeating it, right? So I guess you call it an Easter egg or deep cut or whatever. But you could also call it right-wing trigger bait because, oh my God, did these bitches go and lose their fucking mind? Like, I didn't even listen. The thing is, chose not to listen to it because I could probably have written the script that these little grifting, grifting ass YouTubers and people online, how they make their money, is stoking this bullshit. But it really is. They were like, how dare you call Batman a fascist? How dare you? I'm like, yes, how dare you call a guy who's decided on his own to marshal all of his billions of dollars to literally go out and beat up people, who were doing petty crimes or even maybe even be drug dealing. Who gives a fuck about, due process? Let's just beat the fuck out of them. Why would, that's their thing. They're like, how dare he say such a thing about Batman? And which, by the way, I want to note, this was one character saying something. One character who, if you watch the whole fucking trailer, is sort of shown to be a little bit, out there. And he's saying this thing. But oh my God, you would have think someone had pissed on their grandmother. That's how mad these guys have gotten. I'm not even gonna call out any names. I just saw the usual suspects from the fandom minutes, losing their fucking mind about this. So, LADI, you saw that trailer. You heard the bit. The usual suspects are at it again. What do you think?
When I saw it, I was just like, my first thought was like, why? Like, I was just like, why say it? But hey, I don't really care about it because I can see the point of what they were saying, because it's like in Harley Quinn when it was like, that is true, Batman, you have not been paying taxes. So but it is true. But especially now that I know that it's been a thing that he's been doing his whole entire time. There's actually history. It's a joke that he's made. Then now I definitely, like, I never had a problem with it. Now like, it's to the point that I literally have no issue with it at all, because it's just like, yeah, if it's a joke that he's been saying his whole entire time, yeah. I mean, and it's like you said, it's one person. It's sort of like I'm trying to remember. I've seen a show where somebody didn't like. I've seen a show where somebody in a DC show, someone didn't like Superman, but the main character did like the parent of the main character didn't like Superman or something like that. It's just, hey, some people are just going to feel that certain way because they're like, some people, it's sort of like, some people are like, hey, this person is a billionaire. It's like, for example, Mr. Beast, as good as a person he is, helping people blind, that dude only does it for the view. I mean, just because his dad said it or his friend said it doesn't mean he has the same opinion.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like, I don't think it's something to lose your mind over. Definitely not. I don't get it.
I find it funny that these are. Remember, I feel like I've said, but this before. But this is the fuck your feelings crowd, right? There, when it comes to people talking about there's not enough diversity, fuck your feelings, right? Oh, that's transphobic. Fuck your feelings. Oh, that's misogynist. Fuck your feelings, snowflake. That's these people, mind you. These are the people that we're talking about that say that shit, right? When it's other people. But when someone dares to even, criticize Batman, Which, if you think about it, if you take 5 seconds to just have a little in-depth thought about who Batman is as a person and what he does, you could come across and be like, hey, that dude's not a fucking hero. Not really. I mean, he is, but he isn't. Like, he's a hero in the way that, you know, maybe a crooked cop can be a hero. Yeah, they can save lives, but also they're kind of doing some bullshit. But just a little critical thought will get that. But again, this is the fuck your feelings crowd. So the fuck your feelings crowd sure does have a lot of fucking feelings about this shit when it kind of treads on their, on the stuff that they like, the stuff that they care about. And also, I think it's probably, maybe a little bit of trolling too, because that same group of people, this bit of the fandom is these, right wing nerd culture warriors. They're feeling, they kind of feeling a little bit of triggered and also targeted, because fascist is kind of the fucking buzzword right now that's applicable to some right-wing bullshit going on in this country and around the world. And they don't really particularly care for it. They don't particularly care for, maybe they think that they identify with Batman. How the fuck they identify with that guy, I don't know. But they identify with him somehow. That's their hero. And how dare you call the guy who I idolize as a fascist? It's honestly, it's some weak ass like bitch move shit. Like it's a fucking comic book movie. Like why tie so much of yourself up into that? LADI, if someone said, T'Challa's a bitch or whatever, T'Challa's a fascist, or okay, cool, that's your fucking opinion. I guess. That's not my cousin or anything. I don't give a damn if you want to talk shit about T'Challa. Who cares? And I love Black Panther, but who cares? Like, this is not something to get so bent out of shape about. But, you got to get your grift on. So you got to make everyone upset about something. And people are like, well, definitely not going to go see it. And I'm like, okay, no one fucking cares. Like, you're one person. Who cares? Anyway, LADI, I like dunking on this shit. So just go touch grass, kids. Just get outside and just get off the internet for a minute. So anyway, that's all of our news for the week. So it's time to talk about our trailer roundup. We got 3. We are blessed. We are blessed this week. We got the Secret Invasion trailer, the Blue Beetle trailer, and just today, Across the Spider-Verse. So let's talk about Secret Invasion. LADI. That's dope, dude. I've been looking forward to Secret Invasion. Everyone loves seeing Nick Fury. Sam Jackson is going to motherfucker every Skrull to death. But we also had new additions like Olivia Colman, Emilia Clarke. We had Kingsley Ben-Adir. We have the return of Talos, the Skrull. And all of this stuff that was sort of hinted at the end of, Captain Marvel. And not Captain Marvel, but WandaVision and some other things. And, the end of Spider-Man No Way Home, or Far From Home. So, we got this trailer about the Skrulls trying to take over the Earth, and it looks like more like in the vein of, Captain America, the Winter Soldier, that sort of thing, Civil War, that sort of thing. So anyway, LADI, you had a chance to look at this trailer. What'd you think?
Motherfuckers, I gave you a house and this is how you repay me? Man, Sam Jackson, mad, man. And I was like, okay, we're getting the winter, we're getting the Winter Soldier. Here's my thing that I wish that this was its own phase. I really wish it was its own phase, not just a TV show, like an actual phase. Like phase 4 was, or phase something was the scrolls. You know what I mean? The scrolls
Right.
invasion. I really would have enjoyed that because we know I read the scroll comic book. I've watched the TV shows with the scrolls. That is not a small thing. Like they were fucking with everybody. You know, they were fucking with everybody.
Yep.
And it's just something that I wish that the what's it called did. I wish it would have been a phase that we actually got to see more and more heroes involved with it. But hey, it's Sam Jackson said I gotta do this alone. You know what that is? Sam Jackson, it ain't that you gotta do it alone. The budget tells you gotta do it alone. That's what that's what it is.
I
The-
honestly think it looks. I mean, the trailer looked good. Like everything looked really fucking cool in it. There's a lot going on in it. Some things we've seen before, like that one scene where Talos sort of grabs the guy, and then all of the other scrolls in the room turn into that guy, which is cool. It's still cool to see, but then we got some hints of like. Did you see that little bit of this? I was like, is that a super scroll? Like at the end, I was like,
I
oh
thought I
shit!
thought Super Skrull was the Hispanic dude.
No, super scroll is in like the warriors that the scrolls have that have mimic the superpowers of the
Yeah.
Fantastic Four, and so we had at the end where he kind of had a stretchy arm situation, and I was like, oh shit, is that Super Scroll? I was like, wait a minute, is that Super Scroll for real though? I wasn't really sure, but there's gonna be some terrorism and shit in this. You saw Martin Freeman and Don Cheadle in this shit. Olivia Colman, they say she's going to be the antagonist, like she's the head of MI6. Amelia Clark, she's playing Gaia, the daughter of Talos. And then you have just like these, that whole room full of bodies that were kind of in stasis or something like that, which I suspect those are the people who have been, captured, and then someone's replaced, a scroll has replaced them. I suspect that's, where they keep the bodies. And then you still got, Sam Jackson just be like, yeah, you're right. I got to do this on my, no Avengers. It's just going to be me. And this is all going to be shadow games and like, espionage and shit like that. Kind of, I feel like it has the Falcon and Winter Soldier kind of vibe, except way more serious. So just, I mean, as far as presentation goes, it looks damn good, and I'm really like interested in seeing, how they managed to make, how they managed to make Secret Invasion work within the context of the MCU, but also how many people that we've seen before in the last however many years are actually Skrulls. Like no, like which heroes? Because they're guaranteeing at least one hero is a Skrull. Who do you think? I mean, who could that be? I'm really curious.
One hero is a scroll.
I'll say it again.
No, I'm just thinking. I was like, damn, one hero is a scroll.
Yeah, no, they've more or less guaranteed at least one hero that we've seen, that we know that we've seen, is actually a Skrull. So I'm gonna say not Ant-Man. At this point, not Ant-Man. He's not one. This person would have had to have been replaced. Relative. I mean, I don't want to say recently, but like has been replaced for a while for no one to notice it. So, that's kind of the situation. Honestly, I think it looks really good. Like I think the show's probably going to be great. So, what say you, sir?
Yeah, it looks great. I'm gonna watch it.
Well, yeah, I mean,
Um,
obviously we're gonna watch it, but I'm like a lot more excited for it now than I was
was
last week.
Coulson in it? I think.
No Coulson, no.
Okay.
I know Martin Freeman he's definitely gonna be in it, and of course Ben Mendelsohn as Talos. So it should be good. So it's coming out, I believe June 21st. So we're like 2 months, 2.5 months from it. So after the Secret Invasion trailer, we got Blue Beetle, and that's mentioned before, in the previous segment. Blue Beetle, it's first of all, almost literally nobody knows who the fuck that is. So this is what happened. So I sat down to watch this trailer with Jen, right? We sat to watch it, and we were watching it. She's like, "Oh, this is cool and everything," and I sort of tried to explain, like, "Yeah, this is a hero you've never seen before. You never heard of him. It's in the DC universe, whatever, right?" And so by the end of it, she's like, "That looks really cool, actually, and I want to see it." And I was like, "Well, there you go. There's a winning trailer," because and I double checked. I was like, "You literally don't know who the hell this is. You've never seen them before. You don't know what this is about. If I had not told you it was in the DC universe, would you have even known that?" She's like, "No." Right? So I'm just going to say it's success based on that alone. You know, that my wife was just like, "I don't know who this is, but I'm with it. I want to go see it." So before I'm going to give my opinions of it, but what did you think of the trailer, sir?
Part of me loved it. Another part of me is being petty, and I'll tell you why I'm being petty a little bit later. I enjoyed it. I it's cool that they're doing this. I hope they keep them in the MCU, because I mean, not the MCU, the DCEU, or whatever, the James Gunn DC, whatever, or the Gunn DU, or whatever, whatever they want to call it. Uh, and here's the reason why I'm feeling a little petty. It should have been Static Shock. I'm just I saw a comment underneath it, and one person said, "I really wish this was Static Shock." And I said, "You know what? You're right. I'm being that guy. I still cannot forgive DC for the just because I've recently rewatched the original Static Shock. I've watched episodes of it again, and my goodness, I'm just like, DC, why?" But I'm happy that this exists. So, something that hopefully that it does well in the theaters. I see people in the comment section say they'll go watch it, but hey, words or words can only go so far, because
Mm-hmm.
some people say they'll watch it. Like, I remember everybody was so hyped to watch Lightyear, then
Yeah. Well, I think one thing to remember about this movie is that this was supposed to be an HBO Max exclusive, right? And it had the budget that kind of reflected that. But when Zaslav took over Warner, they canceled Batgirl, but they elevated this to a theatrical movie. So something's there. And we were wondering, like, okay, they elevated this. They must think they've got something there. And they gave us some more money to like kind of kick it up to the next level. And I have to say, I think they money well spent. I love that trailer. That trailer got me hyped. Origin movies are always fun anyway, but just kind of seeing, his whole family unit collectively deal with this scarab thing that sort of takes him over, takes his body over and whatever. And then later on, you can tell, all right, we've leaned into the fact that you're some kind of superhero. We're going to be your superhero support. And they're literally like building a, they're a bat cave. You see George Lopez's character is driving like something that looks like not a Batmobile or something like that, but like out of Watchmen. So it's, obviously there's a big family component to it, which I'm a sucker for. And I love Miss Marvel for the same thing. Yeah, Susan Sarandon in there as like the bad guy or whatever, trying to get the scarab. And looks like there's going to be some fun, remember the parts of Shazam that were real fun where he's trying to figure out how his powers worked? Just how fun that was. Stuff like that. This looks like it got all the good lessons from Shazam and from across, into the Spider-Verse. and from like Spider-Man Homecoming, and kind of distilled a lot of that spirit. Now, even I know Miss Marvel, was probably in production at the same time, but even that same kind of spirit is distilled into that, and I could feel it coming off of that trailer. And with all the flash and bang and everything, all the fun little jokes, I get that underneath there's a lot of heart and actual story and character going on. It's not just Iron Man with the insect suit. It's not just Spider-Man, Iron Spider. It's more to it than that. And so, like this did exactly what it's supposed to. I'm excited for this movie. I cannot wait to see this in theater. And I'm not the only one. I'm telling you, Jen. We see plenty of movies, but like, I don't often see her be like, "Yeah, I can't wait to go see this comic book thing," And she is for this, so that's a win as far as I'm concerned. So final trailer, and this is the big boy right here. I make no secret, and LADI, I know you don't make any secret of it either, that the first Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse was fucking awesome. It's one of the best damn comic book movies that's ever been made. It's definitely one of the, and some people say it's the best Spider-Man or the second best Spider-Man movie. And as much as I love Tom Holland's Spider-Man, I love his trilogy. Into the Spider-Verse is better than all three of those movies. Like, straight up. It's just such a good damn movie. And so it was real fresh. The art style was real fresh and original, and just like it really captured who Miles Morales was as a person and the type of hero he is. And I say this as I'm looking at a picture, that I bought at a comic convention of Miles Morales swinging, and also looking at Into the Spider-Verse poster on my wall. It's an awesome movie. So Across the Spider-Verse has got to come correct, right? It's got to come correct. Mm-hmm. And we saw kind of a teaser trailer, and he was getting chased by a bunch of Spider-Man and stuff. And now we get kind of a closer look at it with the second trailer. We get more of Miguel O'Hara. We get more of Spider-Gwen and Peter B. Parker and other Spider people and everything like that. And I don't know about you, but I fucking love this trailer. This trailer kicked ass.
Speaking of which, is Peter B. Parker Adam Sandler?
No, Jake Johnson.
He sounds like Adam Sandler.
He is Jake Johnson, who, if they ever do it live action, he should be him. Because you've seen him in stuff before, but I can't. I won't be able to tell you straight up what he was in that comedy, the New Girl, with Zooey Deschanel for 6 or 7 years. But this was like 8 or 9 years ago. But yeah, just god dang, this trailer just is fucking awesome. And Miles we already know him as a character from and everything, but obviously he's at the center of it. But that whole little bit where he's kind of been held down by Miguel O'Hara, and he's like, "Nah, I'm gonna do it my own. I'm gonna do my own way." And I'm just like, "That's my dog right there, like that right there. That's Miles." So I mean, yes, there's lots of Easter eggs and there's lots of Spider-Man in this. It's real frenetic action. There's some cool stuff with his parents and everything like that. The Spot. But like that's what I'm here for. I'm here to see those three. Spider-Gwen, Miles, Peter B. Parker with his adorable little girl who can shoot webs. What else do you need from this trailer, LADI? I could keep going on, but what do you think? What was your take on this trailer?
I'm looking forward to definitely into the Spider-Verse. I can't wait for the new one. And I already knew it. I remember I told you, and I've told other people, there's no way in dog hell that they would not at least tease the Spider-Man from No Way Home. I'm like, there's just no way. I'm like, they will find a way to put them in the movie. Everyone's like, they're not gonna. I said they'll find a way. The money prints itself.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep. Yeah, we saw in the international trailer, they sort of referenced Toby and Andrew and Tom, right? They're different
Yeah.
Spider people, and there was a little bit of the when they're like get Spider-Man, and then all of these different Spider-Man are pointing at each other, like there's just so much smart shit going on in this movie, like just this trailer, so much smart, like fun stuff is happening in this trailer. And like these guys, they know exactly what they're doing. And what they're doing is, I hope, not just matching Into the Spider-Verse, but exceeding it, blowing past it. Because as much as I love Spider-Verse, and I know you love Into the Spider-Verse, a lot of people do, it is criminally underappreciated.
Yeah.
And this, it should have made $600 million. It should have made so much money. It won an Oscar and everything. It should have made Pixar money because it's that fucking good, right?
Yeah.
And so I'm hoping that that their marketing seems to be good so far. I'm hoping that this will get people out there so this thing can at least make 600 mil. At least 600 million, or maybe more, depending on how great the movie is, because it deserves it. Like I hate saying deserve it when it comes to stuff like this, but like the first one deserves so much more love than it got.
I'm gonna just tell you, man, don't worry. It's gonna make us money. You know why? It doesn't even need marketing. I'm gonna tell you exactly why. The video game.
Yeah,
The
that's right.
video
Yeah,
game alone this movie, bro, this is probably gonna be one of the highest grossing animated movies of all time. Like, remember I told you that the Mario movie might make $1 billion, like might set records. This movie's gonna do the same thing. There's just because the game audience, the people who bought the video game alone, and then the people who bought people who watched the original, and then you're going to get the No Way Home fans, bruh. I'm serious. I would not be surprised. $600 million, I think, is a low ball in my opinion. Like, real talk, I'm thinking more towards the 800 million. I'm serious. I would not be surprised if this movie makes $1 billion. I'm
I
just
mean, I hope that's true, but like only not people and their problem with animation. They're kind of like prejudice against animation is kind of working against it. Um, and of course, people talk about superhero fatigue. I don't really believe in that, but people are definitely selective about what they're going to go see. So this has to get some pretty good, advance word of mouth or whatever on it from maybe critics or whatever. But like if it gets to 600, if it goes past that, awesome. But 600 really is where I'm just like, please get to that. Make a case because they got to make Across the Spider-Verse Part 2. Make a case for that, because I get the feeling, just based on this trailer and the trailers we've seen, this is not going to be a cool, oh, this is good, this is cool, this is pretty good. I don't think it's going to be that. I think it's going to be excellent. And I just want other people to get past this whole animation prejudice and go watch a damn good movie. They can do it for Toy Story. They can do it for Frozen. Then they can do it for other Pixar movies. They can do it for this movie. Um, we'll see. That I'm just fucking excited. They did that thing, and I'm ready to see like this for real. And I want to say this is, I don't know if it's June or but it's coming out in a few months. So June or July, something like that. So anyway, when they release more of these trailers, like those trailers or whatever, we will let you guys know what we think about them. So anyway, that's all that we had to talk about today, LADI. I can't believe it's been an hour, but but it's an hour's worth of stuff we talked about. But anyway, maybe we missed some things. Maybe you agreed with us, disagreed with us. You had your own thoughts about these topics, these trailers, whatever that may be. Get down to the comment section, leave your thoughts there. And of course, you can always hit us up, supernotfunnyshow@gmail.com or at supernotfunnys1 on Twitter. And while you're down there, do us a favor, hit like on this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell. All that good stuff helps with the algorithm so that more people see this channel and see these videos. And of course, I can't do the Supercast by myself. I need LADI's insight to make this show really work. So LADI, where can they reach you on social media?
Oh yeah, you can always find me on my Instagram, which is KeenyHoon25. Like I said, currently I am working on a video, so stay tuned for that. Also, you can watch me on my YouTube channel. Well, actually, no, my Instagram is Anukinihoon. I apologize. It is ANUKINIHUN. Again, it's ANUKINIHUN. And my YouTube channel is KeenyHoon25. I'm working, like I said, I'm working on a video that I'm going to upload to both YouTube and Instagram at the same time. So if you guys who are following me, you'll be treated. I've been working on this for about 4 or 5 days, and I'm not rushing it. I'm letting it cook because I don't have an actual like time I want to get it finished. So if you ever get a chance, please leave a like, a comment, and subscribe because this is a lot of work.
Yeah, you guys go show LADI some love. Get those views up, because making videos, I can attest, and even in my kind of little, sort of ragtag way, it is time consuming. So show some love for that. Oh, anyway, we have reached, I can't believe it, we are at the end of yet another episode of the Supercast. LADI, can you believe it? We are on episode 96. Where's the time gone? I don't know. But anyway, come back next week. We're going to talk about plenty more superhero stuff, all the news, and all of the trailers and whatever they want to release in the next week. Until then, I've been Mo de Poupe, your resident fabricant and commenter extraordinaire on all things pop culture, joined by the anime expert, video game designer, and lover of all things superhero, my good friend LADI. We'll see you guys on the other side of the thread. Peace.
Peace.